Subramanian here. Introduce myself as a Vina player and educationist. Why I'm emphasizing on that is I love to teach, and I have taught here some 15 years ago. So he is one of my students when I came to Wesleyan University way back in 1975, and he retired just now, right? As a professor of music here in which college?
CUNY, Lehman College in the Bronx, CUNY School.
So I'm inviting him to say a few words so that I can be connected, because I'm not saying I'm an aged person, but the age has come to me and I don't understand quite well the new audience. Okay, so he will probably connect me with the audience here. David.
Very good, thank you so much, sir. I'm honored. I do have to tell you, he sprung this on me like 2 minutes ago, so I didn't prepare my comments. But so I'm guessing we have people with some varied backgrounds here in terms of music, but I'll just give you a very quick summary of both what his background and maybe something about Carnatic music. The first thing that most people might not realize is that there are two main classical styles of Indian music, Hindustani and Carnatic. Hindustani is generally more known in the US, in the West, because of people like Ravi Shankar. But the Carnatic style is from the South, and Dr. Subramanian is a representative, are you ready? 9 generations of Vina players. So that's something quite extraordinary that is hard to even put into words, how much that means. And I had the great pleasure of studying with him at Wesleyan University in the 70s, which had one of the first ethnomusicology departments, along with a couple other distinguished, very distinguished Carnatic musicians, Dr. T. Vishwanathan and T. Ranganathan. And I will tell you just a little bit about my experience and then see if I can make some connection to jazz. When I first heard this music as an undergraduate, as someone like some of you, maybe 20 years old, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't get it. But I was very intrigued by it because it was clear to me that there was something sophisticated and complex about it. So I went back, and I went back, and I went back. And then I realized that Dr. Subramanian and these other gentlemen were quite simply the best musicians I've ever heard in my life. So I'm going to stay with them. And I learned some things over a period of several years, and I've kept up an interest since then. But to try and connect it with jazz, I think in the simplest terms, you've got a compositional structure, which in Carnatic music, there are several different forms: Kriti, Alapana, Nirval, Svarakalpana, that all have both fixed or conventional elements, but also a great deal of room for improvisation within a pretty carefully controlled structure. It's not like some people think about jazz. Oh, you can just improvise and do anything. Anything's fine. And it's not like that here. You need to stay within the rag, and there are certain conventions, but there's still an extraordinary amount of creativity. So I think if you would think back to, say, the bebop era, well, you have to stay within the chord changes. You have to stay within the 32-bar form. And your music, still people did so many creative things. And that's still true with Carnatic music, and it's a living tradition, keeps evolving. And I think I should also point out that 2 of his main disciples are both of the sisters here, which is quite extraordinary. So this is the next generation. And I actually think that we should let him and his students take it from here, because they're the representatives. And so it's an honor to be here, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you, David, for a wonderful introduction. I would like to start with some music, because he has already given an introduction about his experience in Indian music, South Indian music. Now I'll give you a couple of examples where the Carnatic music as a system has extended to the global stage. You'll see now, without me talking about it, you'll hear a couple of programs, which conducted in an institution called Brhaddhvani in Chennai, which I founded in 1989. Now, can you? As you see, the music is no longer within boundaries. The individuality about the music, the geographical boundaries about music now is shattered, and it's now it's in the global arena. So as you see, these top musicians, Steve Coleman, they're there, and Vijay, all these great musicians, jazz musicians, they were all there. Studying for the last 20, 30 years, it has really gone. So much, Now the many Carnatic musicians, the South Indian musicians have come here, they perform so well, and it's now populated with a lot of Indian music, and especially South Indian music. In those days when I was there at Wesleyan, there was only Hindustani music, more Hindustani music. Wesleyan University was the only university which concentrated on the South Indian music. And Toronto University, there's another university. There's two universities, one in Canada and one in the United States. There were the two institutions which focused on South Indian music. Now, it has proliferated, it has come to this stage because the basic concepts are very strong in South Indian music. Of course, also in North Indian music, the emphasis is more the melody. Here in South Indian music, the rhythm is very important. And the people, the improvising, the society, the world, they began finding meaning in the South Indian rhythm and South Indian music. So I'm going to present to you and also probably make you participate a little with these concepts. So there are, and when I said in the beginning, the concepts, structures, they're all there. They're all bound by this, but at the same time, there is such a liberty, such a freedom, which we all enjoy, which makes all these musicians from outside of our culture enjoy and participate in it. Now, I'm going to read this rather than loose talk. I was much fascinated. Let me sit here, again, since it's all there, we can together we can follow. Jacques Derrida was one of the French philosophers. I was very fortunate to be introduced to one of my students in Limerick University. And what he says seems to be applicable to the South Indian music in many respects. So what I'm going to introduce is some of the thoughts which he dealt with, and I'm trying to relate to South Indian music. This lecture I wish to present the concepts and the meanings in Carnatic music through the lens of play and difference. That's a very important term, play and difference, as opposed to a fixed structure, drawing from Jacques Derrida, a philosophy of meaning and reality in human sciences. But it's definitely applicable to South Indian music as much as one of the greatest poets, T.S. Eliot, talks about tradition and individual. I was very fascinated by these two great minds. Meaning is not based on a single stable point, but is rather a product of the interplay of science and differences. Next slide. So, little on the fluidity within the music. The meaning within Carnatic music is inherently dynamic and fluid, continually open to interpretation across its form, content, and style. This fluidity is shaped by foundational principles such as tone, its specific positions, swarasthana, as they are called, scales, medas, rhythmic cycles, tada, and microtonal oscillations, gamaka. The interplay of these musical elements fosters evolving perspectives, allowing for unique interpretations of ragas, emotions, and the lyrical content, which often centers on divine themes. This very fluidity may explain why devotional music in the tradition gravitates towards art music, expanding its expressive potential in world music improvisation. The meaning of Carnatic music emerges from the creative, spontaneous, and dynamic play of musicians, reflected in the differences between their performance and those of others. It is not confined to fixed structures or rigid foundations. This freedom allows performers to shape their own interpretations of the music they create. In fact, the ideal in Carnatic music lies in the continuous evolution of fluid interpretations. Next slide. So now I'll introduce the concepts a little bit from this perspective. We all now have the perspective of Derrida, the wonderful philosopher. The pivotal, unique melodic concept, emotionally and intellectually enriching Indian music is raga. When deconstructed into a basic structural frame, it is merely a scale, a mode, a meda, a logical sequence of 72 in number. A meda only provides the generic framework, a melodic pathway up and down the scale, but the scale, when imbued with elements such as the microtones, the gamaka loaded notes, with their inherent intrinsic varying rhythmic flow, delineates a raga, but it is subject to various interpretations, a result of play and difference rather than a fixed structure. Just to give you quickly, taking the scale, and I'm going to be using a scale. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. Just a scale on the piano. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. The tones begin to move. The frequencies begin to change in an order, but still there are many interpretations of one raga by many different performers. So this raga, I'm going to play also, and you will see that, see how it sounds on the instrument. Thala. It is a time element context providing expanded rhythmic frame to contain the melodic and rhythmic compositions within numerous structural frames. So I'm doing here providing expanded rhythmic frame. So I'll give you a rhythm. I'll give you the thala and its rhythmic component. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It becomes a rhythm. So, you know what I'm talking about? It's expanded into the basic framework, and that is what thala is about. Next. Yeah, now there are a couple of examples here how the tala is used. The cross-rhythmic exchanges within the music and also outside of the system is very interesting, how it expands from the native music to a global music. Now, yeah, go ahead. I would like you to participate in it, those who can participate, either doing the tala and trying to do some other things. Okay? Is there anybody who would like to come forward? Anyone? Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now I'm going to interpret this in terms of, yeah, you can come and sit. Okay, so it's one of those. Then you want to play the drum? You want to do that? Is anybody who's a drummer? Anybody who's a drummer? Okay, it's okay. So you are going to recite, right? Anybody who wants to recite now, no problem, please go ahead. David, I don't know whether you want to do it because you have a master.
I can take it off for a minute.
So, dim, 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 dim. Do you understand what I'm trying to do? This is what is a trance rhythm. So when the takadimi as a flow is going and there is a disturbance with respect to 5 against 4, 5 against 4, and then finally resolving on the samam or the starting beat. So on the 8th count, I'm making a 5 and I'll make it into a numeric thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So while the basic is going at 1:4, 4 subdivisions, I'm putting 5 against that 1:4. I'm sure you will understand. And once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm shifting quarter notes just like that and then precisely stating it against the basic structure of the tala. So that kind of a training is a mental training. So but in South Indian music, what is most important is a mental training. To me, it's not simply a music, it's meditation itself. You need to be precisely there on the point. So I used to tell people, only musician can feel 1/32 of a second, 1/16 of a second, 1/8 of a second, like that. Not everybody. So musicians are very sensitive because of the time aspect, which can be just general, but it can be also very precise. So in between happens, and that there are many things which happen, but not perceivable for the normal listener. You are listening to music. To me, the music is that oneness. That oneness, whether it's a scale or a rhythm. Once you get into that, then what you do is not what you do, but something about you. Okay, that's what happens with music in general, but especially with respect to the soul in music. Now, yeah, good. Yeah. Now you can join this up sometimes. Tak-ka-ting, tak-ka-ting, tak-ka-taki, tak-ka-ting, 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 tak-ka-taki, So as you see, what is most important is the silence in between. It is not what you say, but what you feel. So the feeling, the silence is measured, precisely measured. And there are many ways of interpreting that. For example, ta-di, 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 ta-ka-ta-ki, ta-di, 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 ta-ka-ta-ki, ta-di, 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 ta-ka-ta-ki, ta-di, 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 ta-ka-ta-ki, ta-di, 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 variations of the four. So all these variations are part of a mental training. So when I'm talking about a cross-cultural understanding and experience, it relies purely on this rhythmic and the melodic, the scale patterns. There are 72 scales, whereas you have major and minor as general term. My major and minor here, we have 72 basic scales, which by combination bring many thousands of scales. So that is what I mean. When you have, there is a structure, but you can also go beyond the structure and gives that many possibilities of interpretation. Now, next.
Artha variation.
What?
Artha variation.
Yeah, and then the yeah, can you play that? This is what I did before, in between. You can all say next one. Tadi, 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 tak, tak, tadi, 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 tak, tak, tadi, 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 di. Next one. that D, 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 that D, D, that. What? That's enough. So just to give you an understanding of how we try to firm up the time element. Once you do that, then the improvisation, any improvisation culture can take from that lots of ideas, and you'll be able to do wonders. That's what I try to do with the jazz musicians who came to Chennai, especially from a new school. The faculty and the students, they all came way back in 2002, I think. And all this past story. Now I'm going to give you a little more, and then probably leave you to question me. So I would rather feel happy that if you question, see, the reason I'm here is to enlighten those students of music who would like to know a little more about the South Indian music, which I'm sure you are more familiar nowadays. What's the next? See, any melodic music can be interpreted rhythmically. See, this one example I would like to give. This is enough, yeah. That I will teach them later. Veena. What can be sung. So it has a lot of relationship with the singing and the playing. So this kind of a tie-up with your own body, and the instrument has something outside of you. It has a powerful meaning from yoga point of view. So many musicians and students come there studying yoga, and the best yoga is music. And especially the Indian music emphasizes this aspect. Now, we'll go do some playing together. Then, so just to show you how our practices, the basic practices, with all this, we are going to play a set of exercises supposed to have brought from the 15th century by a composer called Purandara Dasa. So what is very interesting is He was not a musician, he was a merchant. He turned to be not only a musician, a great devotee. He brought this, that's very strange to me, still I don't have an answer, how he brought this kind of an exercise as a starting point, as a structural element in Carnatic music. So anyway, we are going to play some exercises together, and finally ending with a composition of it's a swara composition of my grand uncle Karaikudi Sambashivaya, which most of the musicians sing for the composition Shobhila Saptaswara by Tyagaraja. So what I am trying to tell you is, once you are very firm in the fundamentals, you can do anything in any style, in any style. And especially one of the students who is a son of Odisha, so Odisha the third, was also a student of a new school, and he wanted actually to bring these two together, to bring back his father Odisha. So all these were very fascinating to me when I was beginning to teach. So now we are going to show you a little experience of the basics, just the basics, which is Sarigamaya, just a scale in 4 speeds. And then where we also try to introduce the concept of cross rhythm within the compositional pattern evolved by Purandaradasa. What I try to give you is how the basics are very important. Every element, whatever was practiced, was applied in the composition. So many of us, even in India now, accept the musicians who had all the opportunity in the world to get that fresh experience of the music and culture. They can do very well, but not everyone. So what I wish to do is to spread this news that it is possible. Anyone interested in music would be able to master this music and apply it in any improvisatory style. Now I think this is enough, I think, to give you some time for questions. And I hope if there's about 15 minutes left to you. Now, I would like to have the lights there in the audience so that I can see, if you don't mind, because it's not a performance. I try to need to be connected. Okay, yeah, that's very good. I would like some questions so that I can learn something from you that I don't know. I'm thinking about music all the time. Probably some other things you may enlighten me. Please. Yes.
For somebody who doesn't know a lot about South Indian and North Indian classical music, you talked about the similarities.
Can you probably have this microphone so that it can be also, because it's going on stream, yeah, right? Is it possible? You can take that phone. Yeah. Microphone is yeah, it's here. I can even come over there unless I should demonstrate it to you. Yeah. Yes. That's good.
So, for somebody who doesn't necessarily know much about Indian classical music, either northern or southern traditions, you talked about the Western comparison with jazz and stuff, but what are the similarities and differences between those two traditions in the region itself?
So, the similarity is basically in both, whatever system, you have the melody. Melodic system is the common area, and the rhythm. So rhythms may vary. There are many rhythms. Specific rhythms are used in specific styles. Here, in Indian music, it's more generic. So as I was demonstrating to you, the generic aspect is, for example, if you have just a beat. The same beat as we have the same beat. So we count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just half a note. So these are all common factors. But how each culture, each style begins to use these basic elements into a fabric of music. So that's where we differ. I think the commonality is more, I don't worry about the differences, because differences will exist between two individuals. So for example, my students they are twins. And many people find it very difficult whether it is Maturika or Denuka. Okay? So there are many differences even within twins. So the differences don't matter. The geographical differences or the musical stylistic differences don't matter. What matters is the commonness. The commonality is not the sameness, but it is common. So we take the common principles and try to share the musical ideas, whether it is rhythm or melody. I don't know whether I have answered your question, but That is the basis of whatever I've created here. You saw an electronic platform, what's called Patantra, trying to bring everything there which can become a teacher. So any person in any other style will be able to learn. And in fact, many of my students, because especially after COVID, they have become online students. Although I wondered how much it is possible to learn online. It is possible, because I have done so much there, for which there is a link here, the electronic platform, the internet, and all this really bring a platform where we can learn, like any other subject. But necessarily, a guru, we believe a guru, a teacher is very important. In any culture, the teacher physically is important. That can add, but in the absence of which, we'll be able to do something and then find a good teacher, a guru, we can learn. Any questions? Any other question? Yes, please. Can you come here, sir? Yeah, you can.
This is more of a request than a question, because I've been learning Veena from the past 13 years.
Pardon?
This is more of a request. I've been
Can you be a little louder, please?
This is more of a request. I've been learning the Veena from the past 13 years.
You're learning?
Yeah, and I have a break from the past 1 year, and I was hoping if I could learn from you to continue.
Okay. Take the subject separately, but Veena, actually, I should say a little bit about Veena. And Veena is not that popular, honestly. Sitar is more popular, but there are many reasons for that. But the most important reason is, technically speaking, it has only 3 different techniques, important techniques you have on the Veena, but they are very demanding. And of the 3, there's one is on the fret. There is a discrete notes can be played, as I did. And then the slides from one fret to another, sliding, and then pulling. Pulling is the most demanding thing, and then the balance between these 3 is what makes Veena great. But as a violin, smaller, of course, what you need is just knowledge and then experience. Then you can, the slide and the fingering will do the job mostly. As I did the janta verse, as I call it, the janta on the Veena, there's a pairs of notes that brings distinctive sound. Sa sa re re ga ga ma ma, re re ga ga ma ma pa pa, ga ga ma ma pa pa. The nearby notes are plucked and pronounced very precisely. And that is where the problem starts for the Veena player. And many other Veena players omit that. So what I would tell any Veena student, please consider this, whether you are able to, we want to really go through this rigor of the basics. Basics are very important. Anyway, you are most welcome. I'm very happy about it. Thank you. Yes, any other question? Yes, please.
Sir, in your opinion, what is the most difficult raga in the Veena and why? And Mudija Vasi Kata Mudima. Mudija.
What's the time? I'll just 1 minute I can play.
Sure.
I'll show you most difficult. What's the time? What's the time? Huh?
7.
Pardon me?
In 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. So I'll quickly do that. Yes. Yeah, can. It's actually, from the Western point of view, the scale is Phrygian scale, Phrygian mode. It's very simple in that respect. It's a minor scale. But here, you will not hear the Phrygian scale very plainly, because it requires, on the Veena, it requires these 3 different techniques to be in full swing and able to bring the depth, which is equivalent to voice. Of course, the violin can do the job, flute can do the job, fine. But Here, the dimension of the pull brings real close to vocal in many respects. And of course, anything is based on voice. Okay, but here you'll see that now, hopefully. And if you don't, probably you should come where I am now, and I can explain to you. The basic scale. That's the basic Phrygian scale. Those who are familiar with the scale, just listen and then see whether you can identify the basic tones. It seems to be a shake. Everywhere it's a shake, but it's a precise shake. And every movement is precise. So that should be more than enough to show how such complex gamakas can be played on the veena, equivalent to the voice. And I contend, those who have not sung, when you play veena for some time, some few years, you will be able to sing, because veena becomes your teacher to give you the basic scale and also the gamaka movements. The gamaka is the keynote of Indian music, and especially in Southern music. There's so much to offer. I don't know whether I have answered your question. The time is up. And thank you for everybody, and hope to meet you. David, if you have any comments, you are most welcome.
I just want to say thank you, and I don't know if people realize what a treat it is to have him here. It's been, I don't know, 10, 15 years. I don't know. It's rare and wonderful. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I should thank my students, Tenuga and Madhuriga, because without them it is not possible. And also my friend Krishnan, who brought me here, because it is love of music which brought me here, nothing else. Thank you very much.
Let me ask him to see. You can, they wanted to ask about the video, so I was wondering, do you want to email it to me? Sure.